Well, Pisces, it's an incredible conjunction of planets in your marital or relationship sector this month. It's September 2019. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. And as I've said to some of the other star signs this month, that cluster of planets with all those colours is, maybe it's just a reflection of my shirt. But it is important that we identify how you're going to deal with this large mass of planets here, because there could be quite a few issues that you're trying to work through in your personal life right now. And these planets indicate, especially with the sun there, combustion or a burning up of these issues. And if you're not careful, the relationship could turn out a hodgepodge, like this mishmash of colour. You've got to segregate each and every item in your relationship, whatever's bothering you right now, not just in your personal relationships, in any sort of relationship, because you notice here the 11th house of friendship also has somewhat a cluster of planets. These three planets, Saturn, Ketu, or the south node or past karma point, and Pluto, transforming your relationships there in your social sphere. Here, Venus, Mercury, the Sun, and Mars. Mars particularly friendly, Sun friendly in some ways, but these two not so friendly. So how are you going to deal with that, I guess, is the question that you should be looking at. I think you have to break everything down in the constituent parts and work through that. Here you see the moon's transit in the 11th house can give you some fulfillment of that, as these trine aspects are quite conducive to negotiation and reciprocation. Here we see Mars is not really welcome in the 7th house. It can be very disputational. You can be at loggerheads with your partner over differing things. That's why I say you should take your time and not mix everything up, and certainly don't bring matters of the past in, especially around the 11th or 12th, when the moon is moving through this critical 12th house of past issues. What may happen, however, Pisces, is that the full moon, which takes place here on the 14th in the company of Neptune, your ruler, and being the ruler of the 5th house, which is very, very favourable to you, shines a light on these areas. And immediately after, you see the two somewhat unfriendly planets to your sun sign, Mercury and Venus, simultaneously move out of here. So I would dare say that the full moon will have a positive impact on this area of your life. And it moves those two planets into the area of intimacy, shared resources, shared feelings, and also shared bed space. So there could be some pillow talk going on at this time if you're in a committed relationship. A nice trine to Jupiter here on the 17th, to Jupiter in the 10th house. These are financial matters that can do well. And again, these two planets will be casting an influence on this 2nd house. Interestingly, a lot of astrologers don't look at an empty house as having any meaning, but I do in fact look at planets in the opposite part of the heavens having a strong impact, even Jupiter here having an impact. So there are three planets simultaneously influencing your finance after the 14th. So money should start flowing into you, which is a good thing. And after the 20th, we see here the intimate matters again affecting your domestic sphere. There could be some speculation surrounding your domestic affairs, the bricks and mortar part of your home. I think you may be getting more creative with what you want to do there. There could be some renovation or redecorating taking place, as shown by the angular position of Mars to this 4th house. Also, the ruler of the 4th house, which is Mercury, is in the 8th house, which has to do with bank loans, borrowings, that sort of thing. Notice also the transit, or what we call the Libran ingress, on the 24th here into this same place. You've seen how I mentioned earlier, whereas the focus was on your 7th house of relationships, that's all moving into the 8th house after the 3rd week of the month. And interestingly, you'll see the moon making a volcanic connection with Mars here right around I think it's around the 28th. You'll see it. It'll start here around the 27th. Be careful that you don't overreact to any sort of situation with your partner. In any case, the moon will shift out of there on the 28th rather, and the new moon takes place on the 29th along with these other planets in this area of intimacy. So it's a very, very interesting end to the month where you see those 4 planets. My bright coloured shirt shifted from your 7th house to your 8th house and brings a strong focus with that new moon into the domain of transformation, self-transformation, and transformation of your relationships. Pardon me, that can be rather intense. Speaking about transformation, you'll also notice that there's that square aspect to Pluto. That makes sense. Transformation, rebirth, can't take place unless there's death. And death has to do with the habits which are holding you back. So those habits are not easily broken, but as long as you're aware of them and you've broken down into bite-sized chunks that I mentioned at the outset of the reading, those problems, you can attack them one by one, and slowly that transformation, that rebirth can take place. If you need help with that, the best thing is to have a personal reading, because then we can see precisely where those challenges are and what those morsels are. I invite you to have a personal reading with me. First, subscribe. Also, take a look at my site, astrology.com.au, to get a little more insight into what's going on. But by all means, contact me here, drop me a line. I try to answer everyone that contacts me, and I do appreciate you tuning in. Till next month, take care. Bye-bye for now.